Hello YouTube, it's musician and composer Gary Cunningham. I'm back home at long last. Here we are, back home from Edinburgh. I arrived back yesterday late evening sort of time. I was meant to document my journey home on the train, etc, but I didn't bother because quite frankly the train journey home was atrocious. Because I couldn't get a seat. So this mug, sitting on the floor and standing up for 4 hours on the way home from Edinburgh to London was not a happy bunny. Anyway, on to the whole purpose of today's video. I decided, I've written a blog post about this already, which I'm going to read from, not directly, but just notes. I've written a blog post, 5 things I learned from my time at the Edinburgh Fringe. I wrote this within my first 2 weeks of being at the Fringe because I thought I'd learn quite a lot anyway. So I decided to do a video instead for those of you that can't be bothered to sit there and read a blog post. Completely understandable. But I will link the blog post down below in the description as well, just in case you want to have a read. So the first thing I've learned loads of stuff about being a musician and being a keyboard player, you know, living on my own for a month for the first time. So I've learned a lot actually over the past month. It's been really cool. But there's obviously 5 key things that I've boiled it down to. And this is more aimed at performers, the ones that are going to perform at the Edinburgh Fringe, not necessarily the ones that are going to enjoy the festival. Which I did do, but I didn't get a chance to go and see any shows because I was either busy working or I was too tired to get up and do anything. So, with that being said, number 1. I titled this, It's a Marathon, Not a Sprint. Basically, take your time. Don't feel that you need to do everything in the first week. Don't feel like you need to rush about like a lunatic. Because by the end of the first day, if you watch back my Fringe vlogs, which you'll be able to see because I'll link in the description below, in the first video and the second video of my Fringe vlogs, I look like hell. And I still look like hell because I haven't recovered yet. I'm very tired, I just look battered, but whatever, musician's life. Yeah, take as much time as you need to get used to your surroundings and whatever. Obviously, turn up to your engagements in time, like on time. Like if you've got to be at a tech rehearsal at 9 o'clock in the morning, like I had to, get there on time. You know, or if you're going to be late, at least do the courteous thing and let someone know that you're going to be late. Because obviously there's people there waiting for you. And they might not be able to start the whole rehearsal without you. And although tech rehearsals are like 4 or 5 hours, the time does fly. So take your time. Don't burn yourself out too quickly. Make sure you certainly get plenty of rest, especially if you're on like in the evening time. Don't feel guilty about being in bed for the majority of the day because you are technically working nights. And other people that work nights, like cab drivers and police officers and etc, sleep during the day and they don't feel guilty about it because they are doing a job. And although we're not going out there and saving lives, we are doing a job and we are giving our all every night for 26 nights. Second one, focus. This is something I learned very, very quickly within the Fringe. Obviously, as a musician, I'm confident in my ability, I'm relaxed, you know, I've been doing this for quite some time now. I've done quite a lot of work, considering I'm only 20 years old. I've worked with a lot of people in lots of different scenarios, you know, in bands, in duos, as a solo artist, as a film composer, blah, 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 all sorts. But I wasn't used to playing as part of a production, rather than a gig, like a production. So the focus element is make sure you are, if you're a musician within the show, make sure you are constantly aware of what your performers are doing. Especially if you're in a duo situation like I was, where it was literally me and Ivy Page. I was on keys and backing vocals, she was on vocals, and she was like the star of the show, etc. I had to be very, very, very conscious and hyper-aware of what she was doing, where she was going, what she was saying. Basically just watching her every step of the way. Because she, some nights she might go straight into the song, straight after she's finished talking, or go from one song into another. Or sometimes she might want me to drag out the intro of a song a bit longer because she wants to go over and get a drink, or sort something out, or something or other. Sometimes, which she did do, she might throw an extra song in because she's getting bored of the set, because we do get bored of the set if we're doing it 26 times. And make sure you learn your material as well. I'm going to be honest on this channel, as honest as I can be, about how it all went. It went really, really well, but during the first week, it was a really big shock to the system for me. And I didn't write charts out at the very beginning before I left for Edinburgh, which I should have done. Tried playing it from memory at the tech rehearsal, and it didn't go very well. That's all I'm going to say. It was fine. We got through it. We smashed every show after the final rehearsal. Everything was cool, but I wish I'd written charts out from the beginning. Number 3, develop your own pre-show routines and rituals. Excuse my dogs barking. Sorry. They do this a lot. There's removal men outside helping someone move out. That's Marmite, my Labrador. And the little one you can hear, you'll probably hear in a minute, is Rosie, my little terrier. Hold on 2 seconds. Dad's back. Hold on. Back in the room. Right. After all that fiasco, I had to go and let my dad in. He didn't have a key. I had the key. I didn't put it back into place. Whatever. Anyway, number 3. Develop your own pre-show routines and rituals. Basically, I liked developing things that I would do before every show. That I advise every performer to do that, just for peace of mind and comfortability and etc. Things like that, because you are working yourself into the ground at the Fringe. It's not a holiday. It's tough going. It's not for the faint of heart, but it is very fun. So to make it easier on myself, I developed a routine of things I would do before every single show, because it just made me feel at ease and made me able to actually go and do my best performance. Those things included having a cup of tea and some Nutella on toast before every show, before I left, and also walking to my venue. That was a 55-minute walk, and some of you probably be thinking, Jesus, that's a long time. But it was a really nice walk. I get to walk through this foresty, fieldy area. It was really peaceful and tranquil, and it allowed me to get myself into the headspace of, showtime as such, and allowed me to think about, okay, what can I do differently this time to last night's show to make it even better. And it allowed me to basically clear my head from anything that I've been doing during the day, especially if I've been doing university work or something else. I didn't want my mind on anything else other than what I was going to do. And I would also listen to music on the way to the venue as well, because it could get me pumped up and excited, as everyone does. Number 4, network as much as you possibly can. The greatest thing for me about being at a festival for a month is that it enabled me to get to know so many different people within the performing arts industry, whether that be other musicians from other shows, stage managers, directors, producers, all sorts of people that I can go back to in a few months' time and say, okay, what are you doing for the Fringe next year? Because I can then come, you know me, you've seen me perform, I can then come and take over the keys slot or the musical director slot in your show if you need me to. There is a show that I'm going to try and get the MD position for next year if it goes ahead. Obviously, I'm not going to say which one because it's not fair. But trust me, if I do get the MD slot for this show, it will be phenomenal. And I'm also going to try and do 2 shows next year, just to make it financially viable as well. That's actually another thing I'm going to mention that's not on the blog post. I just actually checked if it was or wasn't. Do your best. Obviously, I was brought in last minute for this anyway. I had about 3 weeks to learn a whole show, which I managed to do Here's a set list written out by the lovely stage manager Louise Charity, who was in episode 2 of the Fringe vlog. Some of these songs didn't get played every night, but I kept this throughout the whole run, which she was very pleased about. She was like, "Oh, you kept my little set list." Yeah, because it's part of my routine now. Where was I going with this? Financial viability. Yes. Sometimes when you do things like this, the cost of doing it doesn't always match up with the wage you're getting paid. Obviously, I was brought in last minute to do this, so I took this gig, learnt the set list, done a few rehearsals, went to Edinburgh and done the thing. But next year, because I'll have more time, I'm going to try and get on 2 shows, and I would advise, if you're physically and mentally able to do so, and schedule permitting you're able to do so, try and get on 2 shows that are paid well, and then you can use one show's payment to pay for everything you need, so like accommodation, etc., and food and travel and everything else, and one half as a wage to take home. And definitely take the time to plan that out as best you can. So those are my 6 tips for performers at the Edinburgh Fringe. I know this video is a bit all over the place. We got distracted by the dogs, whatever, it happens. But I'm very glad to be home, and I can't wait till next year. Until the next video, I don't know what it'll be. Probably be a gear rundown or something else, which I do plan on doing. I plan on writing. I plan on filming a lot more content for this channel over the coming months and weeks and everything else. Until then, see you next time, guys.